everyone, today I'll be doing a quick recap of the Tata Steel Chess Tournament 2022 Round 8. So let's jump straight into the games. On the first board here, Sam Shankland vs Magnus Carlsen ended in a draw. We have 3 decisive results today. On the second board, we have a result. This game was played between Shakir Mamedyarov and Pragnanda. The game started off with c4 by Mamedyarov. He went for the English opening, e5 and g3. Black plays c6. Now he'll get his 2 pawns in the center. White goes for d4 and gets his pawn first. Black goes for e4. Now this bishop will be blocked on this diagonal. White goes for queen a4. Now he can't do d5 because after takes he can't take it with the pawn. He can take it with the queen, but this pawn won't protect this pawn and this queen will have to protect this pawn. Black plays d5 here, but after takes he goes for b5, and after queen b3 he goes for knight f6. He doesn't take because this pawn hangs. Bishop g5. Now he can't take it with the knight also. Queen a5 gives a check. Now he'll go capture this and capture this. Knight c3 and b4. Knight d1, and now he takes the pawn. Bishop h3 instead of g2 because this bishop is also very active, so he wants to trade that bishop. Black tries it. He could have still gone for his development of his knight, and he could have taken it with the rook after white takes it, and his move would not get wasted. But instead, black takes it, which is also not that bad. Knight takes h3, knight d7, rook c1, h6, bishop d2. Now he can play a3 here. Rook c8 and f3. Here after pawn takes, his king looks kind of weak here, but his idea may be to play e4, remove this knight and then take the pawn, and these 2 pawns will be in the center. This king will go to h1 and be safe. Pragnanda plays knight 7 to f6. White plays knight f2. Now he's again attacking the pawn. Black has no way to defend it, so he takes it, and Mamedyarov goes for e4, knight b6 and castles. He doesn't take the pawn. Black can't even defend it, so he can take it anytime. Bishop e7, knight e3, queen a4 and queen d3. There is no trade of queens here. Queen b5, and now white trades the queen, seeing that there will be a double pawns, and here black doesn't have much counterplay. This rook is stuck here unless black castles or goes king d7, and this knight is at the back. This bishop also is being controlled by the pawns. These pawns are nicely in the center, and this knight also cannot jump forward. White goes for e, knight f5, g6 and rook c1. Attacks the knight. Now we'll take the rook, so black needs to protect it. Knight takes e7, knight takes e7 and bishop into b4. Black goes for knight bd5, bishop into e7, king into e7 and knight e4. The pawns are equal here, but black's pawns are more weak here and they can easily be captured. White's pawns are supported by each other. Black goes g, h3 doesn't allow this pawn to defend this pawn. f6 and rook c5 attacks the knight. Now he's going to capture the pawn. Black plays f5, knight d2, rook d8 and knight takes f3. Now black has 5 pawns and white has 6 pawns, and white has an advantage here. Black goes for b4, king f2, knight b6 and rook into c8. He doesn't take this pawn because of rook c2. So now white has a +5 advantage here. h4, g4, knight e1, knight b6, knight g2, and notice that these all pawns can be easily captured by the knight if the knight takes 1 pawn, because they are all coming in an L shape. Knight a4, knight e3, takes, and now all the pawns are going to be captured. And after some moves, now white's king stops these 2 pawns and black resigns. On the third board, here we have Andrei Sipenko versus Anish Giri. The game started off with e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6 and bishop c4. The Italian game, knight f6, d3, bishop c5, c3, castles, castle and d5. White goes for E into d5, knight into d5, rook e1. Black plays bishop g4 and now picks this knight, so it can't take. Knight bd2, knight b6, and h3. Bishop h5, bishop b3, and queen takes d3. Here white plays knight into e5, he keeps his queen hanging, but he attacks this queen also. Queen f5, knight e f3. Black goes for rook e8. Now both control this open file. And white goes for g4, double attacks the queen and the bishop. Black takes to get 2 pawns for a bishop, and the king is slightly weak, although white is fine here. King h1, knight e5, knight h2, because if you take, then there's queen h3, king g1, queen g3, and this pawn is pinned because of this bishop. So there are still 2 pieces attacking the king, and now there's the third piece, and a fourth piece also can come. Not right now because of the bishop, but there is a possibility of a lot of pieces coming in the attack. So knight h2, queen g6, bishop c2, and knight d3. White takes, queen takes, and knight df3. Queen takes, rook takes. Now white is a piece up, and it's an endgame, but black has 2 pawns up here, and he's going to take this pawn now. So after bishop takes f2, it's 3 pawns versus a knight. It now depends on who makes a mistake. Actually, white is slightly better here because he has a piece. White plays bishop f4, c6, rook d2, bishop e3 takes, and knight d4. Knight c4, rook f2. White takes this semi-open file. Black plays knight d6, protects the pawn. Knight f5, knight takes, rook takes, and white looks like he is fine here. He's going to take these pawns, but after f6, white's rook doesn't have much activity. King g2, king f7, rook d1 wants to go to rook d7, h5, and black starts pushing his pawns. Here black gets his rook back so that this pawn doesn't fall. Rook d6 attacks this pawn. Black plays rook e6, rook d7, and now gets this rook so that there's no draw. Black doesn't want to draw here. Black is better actually now. Rook d8, g4, rook h8, king g6, rook g8, rook g7, and rook f8. This pawn is protected now. King g5, knight f1, h4, a4. Now they try to block the pawns on the queen side. Here white tries to attack this pawn, but black defends it with this rook here. Knight d2, which is a blunder. This knight was actually stopping these pawns here, but now it is not. And black plays g3 here, and now after knight f3, it looks like a fork, but it doesn't work after king f4. If knight takes, then pawn takes this rook with a check, and will take this knight and will promote this pawn. So white plays, and here black is a lot better. Black plays h3, king takes h3, g2. White tries to defend the knight, but black plays king e3, attacks the rook, and now white resigns. So Anish Giri gets another point. On the 4th board, Sergei Karyakin versus Richard Rapport ended in a draw. On the 5th board, we have a result. This game was played between Vidit Gujarati and Nils Grandelis. The game started off with d4, knight f6, knight f3, g6, knight bd2, bishop g7, e4. Now white controls the center. Castles and e5. Straightforward attacks the knight. This knight cannot come here because of c4. Here it's blocked by the knight. And g4, it will be met with h3. He goes for knight h5, but white plays g4 here. And after knight f4, knight e4, now again targets the knight. This knight has to move a lot of times, but black decides to play d5 and counter attacks the knight. White plays knight g3 here. He doesn't want this pawn to come here. Black goes knight e6 and knight f5. Vidit looks in a very attacking mode. His idea is after g takes f5, g takes f5, he can play rook g1, f6, bishop h6, and a lot of pieces will come in the game and it will soon lead to a mate. Black saw this and played c5. He doesn't react to the knight on f5. Instead, he continues with his own plan. Knight takes g7, knight takes g7, h3, c takes d4, and bishop h6. He got his bishop out now to attack this pawn. Not many pieces can defend it, so it will be easily taken. Queen a5 by black, and here with it plays queen d2, which is the best move, but normally anyone who is attacking will not trade the queens and might play knight d2 because he doesn't want to get his bishop back, and maybe try to play f4, f5 and get a lot of pieces in the game. But here after queen d2 takes, and here white is actually better. He has two bishops here, and after knight c6, f4, he has a lot of space. Even though he's a pawn down here, this pawn is not all that great. Black plays f6, pawn takes, and now castles. Rook e8, knight b3. Now this pawn is hanging. He can play knight e6 to defend it, but he loses control of the open file, which happened in the game actually. He played knight e6, bishop g2, knight c7. Now he defends this pawn, and now this pawn is unprotected, but white decides not to take it and plays f5. After takes, rook f1. Here the black has two double pawns here. Black plays king f7, pawn takes pawn, rook d2 protects the bishop, and knight e5, which just totally leaves guard of that pawn. White takes on d4, bishop d7, b3, rook a e8, a4, a6, bishop f4, rook e7, rook 1 f2, bishop c6, king b2, rook d7. Now white plays king a3. He cannot get his king in the center through this side, so he'll take it through this side. Black plays knight e8 and c4. Now he'll open this position here and we'll have some tactics. Black plays knight g7 and gives more advantage to white. He could play knight c7, but knight g7 is a blunder because after knight takes c6, b takes c6, c takes d5, and here white has these two bishops which are very strong. After rook g d8, white plays d into c6, and this bishop protects the pawn, this bishop supports this rook, and Nils Grandiles resigns. So those were the games. Now we are going to look at the standings after round 8. Shakir Mamedyarov catches in lead with Magnus Carlsen after winning against Pragnanda. Anish Giri and Vidit Gujarati have 5 points, just half point behind the leaders. Richard Rapport has 4.5 points. 4 people tie on 4 points. Jan Christoph Duda and Sam Shanklin have 3.5 points. Daniel Dubov has 3 points. Pragnanda has 2.5 points, and Nils Grandiles has 2 points. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video.